Yeah, we have had it once so far. I actually believe it was this exact same combo. We had the Sett Diana come out from IG coming through. And yeah, we're going to get it repeated here today. So you have the setup coming in, right? Facebreaker, Showstopper. Sets up very easily for Shadow to be able to go in with that Moonfall. So very strong and potent mid-jungle combination. Once again, I think you lean very heavily into this strong 4v4 in mid-game with your bot lane as well. And JDG have kind of indexed even heavier into their scaling, considering now that they have this GP over the Kennen. But the one good thing about their comp is that it feels very holistic and kiting out all in. You have Braum throwing out his passive. Braum has his ultimate as well. The cannon barrage to slow them down. GP's barrel combos are much easier and more fluid if the enemy is running into you. And then the Ezreal to just top it all off. So kind of like a 1-4 and primary engage coming out from LGD, and this kind of kite back 5v5 setup coming out from the side of JD Gaming.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see if it'll work out for JDG Gaming. JDG Gaming.
JDG Gaming.
It's like saying an ATM machine. Yeah, we'll have to see if they can kite back and keep LGD at arm's length. Last game, it didn't feel like they could play out the win condition effectively. It didn't feel like they figured out how to play around LGD. But I think a lot of it, once again, will come down to this early game, right? LGD found an advantage in that early game and kind of snowballed things out of control. So I feel like JDG are going to have a lot more work in the first sort of 5-10 minutes to make sure that the game is stable. Because that level 1, like Kanavi going for the invader level 2 and it all falling apart, like it couldn't have really gone any worse than the start.
I feel like the one thing I'm going to be skeptical of with JDG going in, right, is that JDG were the aggressors in almost every situation last game. Can they temper themselves and actually let the enemy come into them, try to control space first, try to contest and posture over mid-wave, and can they get this cheeky level 1? I don't think so. Fearness isn't going to fall for it. Oh, he saw, didn't he? He must have seen. I mean, pings are coming out on him now.
He barely walked into the lane. He wouldn't have had vision on the brushes, surely. Those are red pings. I don't know. Either way, it's not going to work out. I'm not sure if he saw it or not, but either way, it's not going to pay off. So just going to be a ward for 369 for his early laning. Gangplank, obviously, exceptionally strong in the early game and in the mid game and in the late game because they've decided that scaling champions don't exist anymore. Random shade there. I don't know why they buffed Gangplank's early game so much. He used to be the scaling champion. It breaks my heart.
And again, you don't even have to worry about dives too much anymore, right? Like, again, dives still can come off, and I think especially with LGD's composition, it's like, if you have 4 members topside, I mean, you have a Sett, you have a Nautilus, it could work, but yeah, even 369 not really having to worry about that.
Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is. Shadow going to start on his chickens. There is a ward there, but obviously that's his own team's ward. That was defensive vision for the start of the game. As both junglers will start on this bottom side, but once again, Shadow going to go from Raptors to blue buff. This is what he did in game number 1 as well. But, you know, that was a slightly different situation with Kanavi having the kind of jungle tempo advantage. This time, Shadow kind of boomeranging, and we'll head back down towards the bottom side.
Yeah, so we'll bring him back down to that bot side where he has the Kalista. Also will mean he's getting the red buff later, so potentially could have it at a more impactful moment where he actually will want to fight, because we don't expect to see Shadow fight, want to fight much with his first clear. After that, goes for the reset, can try and come out on base and try and find an impact on bot, or especially mid, right? Because you pick the Sett to combo with the Diana, you have the CC to bring in to set up for her to dash in and get that damage off. So it'd be nice to see them either punish Yagao or at least hover around mid and open up Yeji to be able to move, because Yeji has also taken that ghost as well. So you can more quickly get into side lanes, and even in team fights, just chase down priority targets even harder.
You certainly can. Kanavi on his red buff right now. I'm curious. Oh, hang on. Hook onto Hope there. Big damage out from Assum and JinJiao, but missing, able to block a lot of it with the Unbreakable. And that's the power of having that Braum at the bottom side. Such a good anti-dive tool. Such a good anti-pressure tool. Kanavi, speaking of dives, moving up to this top side, but he's been thwarted once again. Shadow is just too big brain for him. Every invade he goes for, Shadow's already read it.
Yeah, not going to be able to fight anything. We'll just have to walk away, take the topside Scuttle Crab, and finish clearing out his topside jungle. And overall, Shadow, I mean, just going to be able to finish his full clear before Kanavi's able to do the same and find a nice little window. Won't be able to make anything happen bot, considering that Hope and Missing are just playing under turret. They are going to get pressured, right? You're playing Ezreal Braum. You're not really playing to win lane. There are potential avenues around mid, but still Shadow, I think, wanting to value more getting to level 6 as quickly as possible before really wanting to punish Yagao's Ahri.
Yeah, I mean, that's the classic Diana strategy, right? Where you want to get that level 6. That is the
I
big
remember
moment.
we had someone level 2 gank on her last split. It didn't work. I remember they died. I wish I could remember which team it is, but maybe it's better I don't, because then that would just be straight up flame.
Yeah.
It would just
I feel
be
like you're just calling someone out at that point for one random mistake that happened. Assum gonna get some damage onto missing again. Once again, this Braum very tanky, but actually a flash forward from JinJiao onto Hope. It's gonna be flash for flash there, but Shadow, in the meantime, has snuck into this lane. Now, there is no vision in the brush. Once these minions are cleared, he'll be able to move forwards into that next brush as well, or he'll leave the lane, and we won't get the play that out.
Yeah, and again, if the play would have come out, that would have been one of the benefits of saving your red buff for so long, right? He would have had that extra damage coming through with the burn, but now we'll just be able to go up, pick up his Raptors. You'd expect a reset to be coming in sometime soon, because Kanavi right now being a little bit stronger coming off of his own back, having that Sheen in inventory, could be a bit of a timer where you would look to impact the lane. The hard thing is, I feel like there's no real easy lanes for Kanavi to impact right now. Mid will be quite hard. Yeji, obviously very durable on the Sett. Top lane, if Fearness overextends, which he's pushed up right now, is an option. And bot lane would be fine if you get a gank off, if you have vision of Shadow. But if Shadow is there, I feel like LGD's 3v3 is quite potent.
Yeah. It's going to be Shadow just helping make sure that this wave gets shoved in. JinJiao making an attempt. And I will say, one thing that we have to say for JinJiao, he loves to make these attempts in the mid lane. He loves to try and go for those. 369 has flash. Fearness needs to be real careful and will realize the situation as Kanavi starts this Drake off. Shadow is on the top side of the map, but with pressure from JinJiao and Yeji, I'm not sure that this is a Drake JDG can commit to.
No, they definitely have to be a little bit respectful, as they're actually going to posture around mid. Ooh, JinJiao living on a knife's edge.
Dicey. Yeah, the Hex splash out to safety. Just about gets away with it, but my God. That's a squeaky bum time is what we call that one. As now JDG going to be able to get themselves to the Scuttle Crab. Assum moving in. Missing could be a target here.
No.
JinJiao
Oh, thank God. I was going to say,
they got the crab.
We saw it last game, right? The exact same situation, but it was Shadow who just walked up, smited the crab away. Luckily, Kanavi able to get it this time around. Key thing going into this next phase of the game is 369 about to hit level 6. We'll have that cannon barrage available if JDG want to try and start off a fight for Dragon.
Yeah, that'll be crucial. In fact, he has now hit level 6. JDG start it off immediately. Assum moving into the bottom lane, though, there will be no contest from LGD. So JDG starting things better this game, right? We remember in game number 1, they fell behind on the Drakes, and it meant that the split push pressure from Fearness can have far more impact way later into the game. But with JDG starting off with the first Drake, that shouldn't be as much of a threat.
Yeah, I mean, if you can be having them fight you for soul, you know, around the 25-minute mark, that would be phenomenal for the side of JDG. I mean, at least JDG do have phenomenal scaling in terms of fights this time around. Last game, we didn't really get there, and that's why 369's cannon was the only real damage source. So they will be unified, and again, a lot of it's going to come off if they can play out this formation. But Shadow now very close to hitting level 6 himself, and we can finally start to see a more proactive LGD coming out onto the Rift. And I've already said it numerous times, but it's going to start from the mid lane, right? You want to see it start with the Sett Diana and then making your way over to one of your sides.
Yeah, and it feels like they need to get something going, right? Split push compositions do not work when you're behind. You need to have that advantage as Kanavi moves up towards this top side. Fearness is just going to leg it for the time being at very least. There is no ward in the lane brushes, so Kanavi can move a little bit further forward. Those minions are going to be just in the wrong spot for him to be able to push in too much. And Fearness smells a rat. Look where he's positioned on the map right now. He knows it's going on. He's in between the two towers. Yagao had gone missing from mid lane as well. It's just going to be this huge crash, but Fearness will still be able to get here and clear up most of it. Misses the cannon, but ultimately, it's only going to be the one CS that he misses out on.
Yeah, overall, nice by Fearness. Didn't have confidence in the extra turret damage, and especially, again, the ramping damage coming through to be able to maybe turn it into a 1-for-1 or maybe even a 1-for-2. Is going to use the window, though, to be able to look for this Herald. Key thing is that JDG's bot lane and making their way up first, as the observers are showing now. So JDG definitely going to feel comfortable about trying to look for this fight.
Yeah, Yagao making sure that LGD can't just go for this one for free, as Fearness goes for the reset. Does not have TP, and that almost guarantees now that JDG will have this one in the books. Remember, Yagao having that charm available means that they have to be cautious, and Shadow flashes away from it. He was definitely ready for that one. The speed of the flash, he knew that that was a risk, but goes for the aggressive pathing anyway. Now has to move towards his red buff, as Assum will finally get himself a tower plate. So this is the minor reward for LGD for not going for that Herald. They get 1 plate onto the AD carry, but generally speaking, the Herald is going to be worth 2.
Yeah, so far JDG have just been pulling them around the map. Really nice use of pressure coming out from their side on the windows that they have been playing around right first time around. It being that cannon barrage, it being like the threat of just more force able to come out, I think leading LGD to not wanting to contest the Drake. Now their bot lane playing off a window where they have the bouncing wave going back. Luckily for the side of LGD is at least when you have Diana in a game, Diana kind of warps the game around her in my opinion, in terms of if you are ever able to find that massive wombo combo coming through with Sett Diana, there will always be an avenue back into the game.
That is certainly true, if you can get that big damage combo. But the problem is, exhaust exists, and she's kind of like Kennen in that way, where if she does get exhausted as the combo goes off, suddenly she doesn't add a whole lot to the fight. It's kind of that one big moment, and then you're out of luck. That's all you've got. So we'll be down to JDG as well as down to Shadow on how well these kinds of combos go off, down to Missing on how well he uses that exhaust. But we'll have to see. And, you know, Lyic, 0-0 at the 10-minute mark. After game number 1, we were like, okay, all scrappy compositions, lots of fighting, yeah. Game number 2, not so much. Very slow pace of game. And generally speaking, like historically, that's the way JDG have liked it. But honestly, in the last year or so,
yeah,
I'd say JDG have really ramped up the aggression, so it's kind of surprising to see.
Yeah, they had the highest champion kills per minute in the spring regular split, as 369 does have flash and won't even have to burn the cannon barrage. Still, though, nice by LGD to get that summoner spell out. But like you were saying, right, JDG in spring regular split, they were our most aggressive teams in terms of finding action. Now they're getting punished.
Yagao pulled underneath the tower here. Yeji looking for a solo kill. Honestly, there was no one there to back him up. And now he's stuck the haymaker across the team. The knockup is there, but it's first blood for JDG. Assum answers, though. Stacking up the rent onto Kanavi as well, but the ultimate not quite going to work out from JinJiao.
Yeah, 1 for 1 in the end. Like you said, Yeji not being trigger shy at all, looking for the play. We're able to answer it back.
Okay, just a bit of damage.
Yep, that did nothing. Still on the bottom side, we can see now Hope can be able to get some plating. Remember that they have the Rift Herald. We don't need to remember because luckily Kanavi is dropping that one right now, and this will be some nice gold in JDG's pocket.
Okay, Herald charge just about. It was only like 200 HP when it went for the charge there. Does manage to pull it off. That'll be 4 plates now for JDG. Hope getting a huge amount of that gold as well. And, you know, I criticized the Ezreal after game number 1, and you said it was much more a matter of if Ezreal can maintain pressure. Well, this time around, they're 1,000 gold up. This time around, Hope is the one getting this early gold, and we'll be able to stay at least even with Assum. There's a second Drake as well for JDG. So this top lane from Fearness won't be able to snowball ahead like it did last time. And it feels like LGD are going to have their work cut out in the mid-gamers. I love this. Yeji, like, just making the plays. I respect it.
Yeah, trying to look for it. Knew his bot lane was on the way, but still nowhere near close enough. Make sure the 1 kill does go over. And then this flash Q comes out from Assum, the E to be able to finish him off. And just nice for them to be able to trade 1 for 1. Ultimately, it does go in JDG's favor once we do factor in Ezreal being left in the bot lane and then the Rift Herald being able to come out. But still, being able to answer 1 for 1 was nice. But still, I feel like the longer the pace of the game sits like this, just the way that the 2 compositions interact, JDG should be feeling decently nice. But LGD do have a ton of all-in. So sure, like JDG might have like range coming through with the Ezreal and kite back with things like the Spirit Rush coming out for Yagao and the Braum. But LGD should always be able to find a way into a fight. But if JDG keep expanding this gold lead like this, those will be losing battles.
Yes, they will. And we're getting to the point as well where, like, ultimately, once, as you said before, Shadow is a huge portion of the damage from JDG. If he doesn't get that combo off, well, I don't really know where the damage comes from in these fights. I don't know who else is going to be able to carry a team fight for them. So they need to find something. And Shadow keeps on trying to get it. Like, he's been in top lane twice. He's been in bottom lane before, but never quite able to get anything to stick.
Yeah, never able to find it. I mean, just consistently their lanes getting pushed in, and JDG's lane's like paying a fair amount of respect, right? 369 not really over-aggressing, except that one time he was punished. And you could see Kanavi just kind of pivoting back and forth on both sides of the map, just allowing these three lanes of pressure to keep it up.
Ooh, Hope just dodges the hook there. JDG desperately trying to finish this tower off as Fearness is not having a fun time. Well, I guess we found out the correct matchup for 369 against the Fiora, right? He's 30 CS up now. He is absolutely destroying Fearness in the top side. And Fearness has just used his TP and now is stuck with Kanavi all-inning him. Nah. None of that today. It's going to be 369 that gets kill credit as well. And this time it's him grabbing the first tower of the game. 369 will be very pleased with this passage of play.
I mean, Fearness didn't even have his mythic yet compared to Kanavi having the Divine Sunder, but it would have been cool. It would have been cool if he could have pulled it off. They didn't even want to, like, risk it. Threw down the cannon barrage as well to make sure that just goes down. That'll be very easy for JDG to start bringing members down towards this bottom half of the map to make sure that Hope and Missing will be allowed to secure this turret. Looks like with second Rift Herald coming up, though, they're actually fine just leaving Kanavi on the top side.
Yep, JinJiao looking for the hook.
Oh, he finds
it. Hope here, but I don't know if they really have the all-in. They just don't have the damage as Hope flashes. Oh, it didn't even have to flash just yet. Fate's Call going to be used just to keep Missing in the play. Hope, no ultimate available. Heal comes out to Missing. Missing goes down, but it's at the cost of both bottom laners and a great E from Hope. The follow-up from Shadow. He's in a 1v1, and there's no help from Yagao, who's trying to escape himself. The tower still doesn't go down, but Yeji chasing perhaps a little too long on this one, as in comes Kanavi. It's a long old skirmish, and Yeji, the shield, will keep him safe for a moment, but now the reset for Kanavi if he wants it. He's going on to Shadow. True damage coming out from the Orb of Deception. The charm! Oh, goes Goda, but Kanavi hits the Haymaker. No!
Oh, he doesn't!
Ever so slightly shy. It's a disaster, but ultimately, JDG getting towers across the board.
Yeah, still though, JDG punished a little bit for their hubris. They were trying to play both sides of the map. We were just hitting on how they can lean members down to the bot side, but Kanavi opting into staying up towards Herald. Once things start to go awry, has to move down there. In the end, though, still able to hit turrets across the map, like you said, now sitting at 3. We'll go into the replay to see it all happen because JinJiao landing a beautiful hook onto Hope, and then Assum kind of dancing around the fight. Great to see, getting a bunch of spears in to get a bigger Ren stack coming out. They keep the fight going. Yagao is able to get down here, so both members do go down, but the fact that Yeji and Shadow were able to get here first, because as you can see on your minimap, again, the Kanavi did commit up towards the Herald at first, allowed for LGD to be able to find some kills back.
Yeah, and then Yeji staying a little bit too long, trying a little bit too hard to try and make that play happen. The shield helps, but ultimately the kill comes out. I feel like if Kanavi goes for the possession straight away, maybe they can lock Shadow up and find something.
I even feel like if you don't walk up with Haymaker and you just wait to use the recast of your ult and you aren't tanking turret, he probably could have gotten it. I don't know if he still would have been able to get out scot-free, but he definitely would have been able to secure the kill.
Cannon barrage, there's a knock from Missing as well as Yagao trying to make his way into the fight. Fearness along the backside. That's a 4-man ulti out from Shadow, and it leads to nothing. Oh, that was tragic to witness. Fearness on the wrong side of the play now as he'll blast code his way towards the towers. Maybe he can make his way through this one, gets the Q reset. We'll get out onto the top side of the map. But that'll be a third Drake now for JDG. And, you know, it was a great ulti from Shadow, but there was just nothing to follow up on it.
Hey, and this so far is a great example of, right, the difference in best of 3s versus best of 1s. Because if this was best of 1s like LCS or LEC, just be like, cool, LGD are better than JDG. But since it is a best of 3 and JDG can readjust their draft, readjust off of the level 1 and the shenanigans that happened, they're able to come out stronger. We're going to see here JDG, the team, looking for the engage. They get Yeji quite low, and it leads to the Diana going in. Everyone flashing out, though. Diana is just, not very durable at this point in time. It was the charm that landed from Yagao to set it up, and they're able to finish off those 2 kills.
Like you say, it's just the difference in tournament format. Like, best of 1, that Diana kills everyone. I guarantee it. But no best of 3, so it doesn't work out.
Hey, man, they're on blue side. They are definitely going to win this game.
Oh, let's not go there. My Twitter DMs cannot handle that conversation, okay? It's going to be 4K on the Herald. JDG on the contest. It's going to be a charm onto Assum and a cleanse to keep himself safe. The Herald low on HP and is taken by Kanavi in the end. Now the fight. Can LGD find it? There's one kill for them. And Fearness is on the backline. He's on to Hope. Can't quite finish the kill off. One more auto. Finds it and gets the healing as well. But Kanavi behind everyone. 369 in the middle of the action as well. Finds two for himself. And it looked so good for a minute there for LGD, but they didn't get the Herald and they don't win the fight. It was all so close and yet so far.
Yeah, it was the best shot that they had, and Missing still going to continue to chase down JinJiao. Sadly, no real objectives they're able to take, but they commit cannon for us.
I respect it. It's not about how effective the play is, it's about sending a message, okay? JinJiao goes down, Kanavi grabs that kill for himself. And, you know, JDG, I said I wanted to see them make a statement today. I was talking about game number 1, but I guess game number 2 will have to match.
Yeah, and we're going to see how the Herald fight starts. So LGD being the ones to start off on the Rift Herald itself. And then Yeji kind of being a bit of a nuisance on the backline. Fearness also finds his way in. And remember, the JDG just kind of really scattered. It's really brawly right now, which suits LGD's style of composition. Fearness trying to 1v3 on one side of the fight, but it opens up Kanavi to find the reset, get the possessions, and sure, the damage might not land there, but you're starting to get into a point where the members of LGD are cut off. It's very easy for JDG to turn on the one side of the fight. Good effort from Fearness. He bought a ton of time, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, it certainly wasn't. Fearness, and again, we talked about it before. Fiora is certainly better at teamfighting than she ever was before, but still not great. And now, pick onto JinJiao as well. Fate's Call, not even going to be used here. Oh, it was on cooldown, in fact. So it's just going to be a pick onto JinJiao. Thought he was safer than he was. Now Yagao trying to pressure onto Fearness. Good dodge onto the charm. But Kanavi just going to drop the ult. Riposte will turn it around. Fearness getting the combo. The healing is there, but doesn't quite have the damage to finish Kanavi. My goodness, Fiora is terrifying.
Yeah, but still now Missing's in the fold, and Braum just does incredibly well against a lot of LG's composition, right? Very short range or melee heavy. You'll have numerous people you can get your passive stacked off onto. Your ult going to be able to get a ton of value in team fights when you know there are numerous members jumping into you. So the second Missing shows up in bot lane, you know everything is fine. Pretty much everywhere that Braum ends up, JDG are feeling snug and cozy.
No, Yeji, this is not the brush you want to go
snug and cozy.
They were very snug and very cozy in that brush. I can't argue with that as JinJiao just gets chunked. That's going to be a good ult from Shadow, and he picks off one. But here's Yagao behind enemy lines. They fall. The solo laners on a mission as Kanavi follows up. Yagao, that is gorgeous. Assum trying to survive, but there's no chance on this one. Yagao getting the resets, gets back out again. And well, Fearness is just left recalling in the bottom lane, wondering what went wrong.
I gotta say, though, at the very least for LGD, right? Much more exciting of a squad, at least so far in this first series. This game, too, a little bit of a stomp once JDG did get going, but nice to see that at least individual outplays are possible, because that felt like something that just really was not there for LGD last split.
No, certainly not. I mean, Assum has had a pretty good series so far on this Kalista. You know, Fearness has obviously had a great series. Yeji, having to be the one to face check, such is life. Someone's got to do it at the end of the day. And JDG just punish.
Yeah, that is a great way of, right? I mean, they had to go in. They had full control of vision. They have no way of brute forcing through mid either to try to make their way into jungle as a collective unit. We see once Yagao is able to make it around, lands another charm to set this one up, and then goes in. Assum almost able to find it, but the Zanya's too powerful. Buys time for Kanavi to get in, and we come onto the map, and Dragon's up. So we're going to get another team fight. Munchables, take it away.
We certainly are. Kanavi trying to find Yeji. Look at Shadow. If he can find the ulti, maybe the miracle can happen. Hope going in. Shadow getting knocked up, though. Getting charmed and getting taken down. No, 10's golden. Hope standing on top of him, but the Q... Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that it was too early. Assum dancing around now, but he just don't have the damage. It's 2 more for Kanavi, who's looking for an MVP himself, honestly, with the scoreline he's putting up right here. 8-0 and 8. 6-0 and 6 for 369. And, well, 20-6 on the scoreboard. That is going to be JDG, who clearly took game number 1 a little personal.
Yeah, JDG learned from their mistakes. The same early game pathing coming out from Kanavi getting punished and then the TP play weren't made. They were able to go into the mid game very smooth and just overall showing that again, if JDG can find that lead, they know how to close out games.
Yes, they do. This is a team that specializes in the early game lead. And it's one of the reasons that I was kind of surprised to see the Ezreal again, right? And then a Gangplank, like a lot of scaling across the board for JDG, but it was a very quiet early game. But even though it wasn't kill heavy in the early game like what we saw in spring, it was still control heavy from JDG in the early game. It felt like JDG were in control of that map during the early levels, and that led to them having those two Drakes. It meant that LGD couldn't have that same split push pressure that they had in game number 1, and it led to a very clean game from JDG.
Yeah, and it's just one of the things, again, that we saw them playing around timers and windows like very well, right? First Dragon comes up, they have cannon barrage advantage, they know that the set's on a reset timing in mid, they know, hey, we can take Dragon. Once again, kind of same setup, they know this would be a key time that Fearness needs to back in top lane. They start overloading members off of like a bounced wave and bot. So it's like these like small things that started to get JDG like little advantages that they were able to snowball into huge leads, especially once they dropped things like the Rift Herald down in bot side for Hope to really capitalize off of.
Yeah, it felt like, you know, JDG is one of these teams whenever they have the lead, it always feels good. It always feels very controlled, feels very correct. Like, even all the way back to 2020, it felt like one of the things JDG did best was, like, recalling on time for Drakes and, like, just respecting the game mechanics itself. Like, a lot of LPL teams more than happy to be greedy on late recalls for objectives and not setting up vision correctly. JDG is never one of those teams. They're always very good on the vision. They're always very good on the resets. They're always very, I guess, disciplined is the word.
Yeah, and again, like you're hitting on it right. We had teams like FPX, who's like Baron said it would be the one ward. Obviously, top esports, very known to like ignore a lot of the fundamental like rules of how people think you should play League of Legends. But JDG, a team that typically does fall through. Again, if they find a lead, they're able to close out. We saw the small adaptation come in, even just with things like the GP pick and the Braum, and it felt like both really did massive work. They used the cannon barrage flawlessly, and again, I feel like Braum just works really well into LGD's whole composition. And now LGD are going to have to be the ones to adapt, right? Because they did go and just blind pick this Fiora. They said, hey, we don't care what you do. We're just going to take what worked in game 1 and just like jam it to work in this composition. Wasn't really, I think, like that pick that was at fault, right? But still, the fact that they didn't really adapt to what JDG were going for, and JDG kind of ended up with a composition that counters what LGD do and then just pilot it better was the keys to JDG's success.
And look, I do respect LGD for this one, just saying, look, if it worked in game number 1, it'll work in game number 2. Just lock in the Fiora blind again. But unfortunately,